In today's video, we're going to be looking at Ableton's Frequency Shifter, and we're going to look at how you can use it in really experimental ways. It's often a plugin that I think gets overlooked by many producers, including myself for a lot of years, and it really seems to lend itself extremely well to techno. It just gives you like a really nice kind of modular experimental sound, I think. And the other thing as well, it's such a versatile little unit. I mean, when you first open it up and start playing around with it, you kind of get lost a little bit how it could be used. But I think the best way to get to grips with this little plugin is to just experiment with it, put it on a loop and just play around until you get something that sounds really cool. So I'm going to take you through 5 different creative kind of settings that I've played around with and come up with. And we're going to be using a few different loops from the Tornado pack, the Alter pack, which is a really cool pack, System and Fuse. And these are all like really nice kind of like percussion loops and techno loops and modular sounding synth sequences and things like that. And so let's get stuck in. So this first one, I've just been playing around with the LFO and how you can use the speed on it to come up with like really cool modulating sounds that I've got a lot of stereo stuff going on as well. So this is the sound that we're going to be playing around with. So let's go ahead and add this frequency shifter on. And as you can see, I put the LFO onto square wave, and I put the amount to 504, and then I've made a really fast rate as well, so it's 164. I was going to put it on hertz, but then I've kept it in rhythm with the project. And also brought on the fine tune as well. So let's have a quick listen to what this sounds like, and then we're going to mess around with the LFO section and try and get some different rhythms and shapes out of it. That's quite cool there, I like that. And you can just play around, you know, like just record it, play around and record it, and then go back and pick out bits that you really liked. We've also got a random LFO as well. It's really cool if you want that kind of weird computer sound. Cool little effect. So yeah, the LFO section of the frequency shifter is like really useful. I think that's where it kind of shines when you start playing around with that stuff. So another thing that I found with the frequency shifter is that it's got this drive set in here. It only works on RIN mode, but it really saturates the sound in a really good way. So I'll quickly go through what we're going to be playing around with, which is this loop here. I really like it. It's like a really thin, snappy sound. And then I was thinking maybe we can use this frequency shifter with the drive to like bring up all of the grit and noise like we would with a saturator or compressor. So I had to play around with it. I managed to get this out of it, which I thought was pretty cool. And then also we've added in some of the ring shifter as well with a little bit of LFO mount on to give it like add in like an extra tone. So let me bring the mix all the way down. So you can hear that even with the mix down, you add in the drive, and then I'll start to bring the wet tone up. It's just so different from the original, just using like one plugin. It's crazy. And with the frequency shifter as well, obviously you can change the key of the tone. I wish that they put the key on there instead of just the hertz, so you could like really fine tune it to the key of your mix. But you can use a graph and find out what different frequencies are different keys on a keyboard, and then just match it up that way, or do it by ear. Or you could use a tuner as well, actually. So you can really play around with that as well. So I thought that was really useful, using like the drive setting. And then the other cool thing you can do with it is you can take some toms and pitch them, so you can get like a weird pattern going where the toms are pitching. So let's have a listen to this next loop. So yeah, it's a tom and kick loop which just kind of stays on the same note, but then we're going to use frequency shifter and the LFO to add in some changes within the pitch. So check this out. And you could actually like do the dry and wet and get both in there. So it's like you're stacking on another layer on top of the original sound. Let's experiment with this and see what other kind of like patterns and stuff we can get out of it. That's quite cool. Let's change the rate as well. Obviously, you can change the master positioning of the frequency here as well, and then you've got fine tune there. Let's try it with the ring. Go back to that one. That's really good. So yeah, you can just get different patterns using just one single loop, like some toms or a kick or something, and then get all this kind of tonal stuff going on. It's just really cool to experiment with it. And that kind of sounded like the next example. So another thing that I found you can do with it, which is really good, is you can use it as a riser effect. So we've got this loop here. So what I want to happen is I want that to go up in pitch. We could just automate the pitching, but I found like using the frequency shifter, you get like really nice character out of it. So what I've done is this fine tune knob here, I've actually just drawn in just a really simple kind of rise over 8 bars. So let's play that and hear what this sounds like. And then what I've also done is just added in an echo, like a pin-pon delay, just to give it a bit more movement and depth, because it's like really clean at the minute, but I want it to be a bit more washy. So let's check this one. So yeah, you can use it in that sense. You can do it on vocals as well, which works quite nicely, and like pad sounds, so you can like rise the pad up. Just try it on different sounds and see how far you can get with it. It's really, really cool tool, like just creatively just putting on stuff. And that brings me on to this one actually. So, because like you can get so much out of it, like when you start shifting stuff around, I thought maybe like start to stack them up. So what I did here was played around with them until I got a really nice sound from it. And then I duplicated the layer and then just played around with it a little bit more till I got a different sound that went with the original, and just kept doing it. You know, I did like 4. I could have probably kept going, which starts to get a bit messy. So let's have a quick listen to this loop, and then I'll show you I'll start putting on the layers that I made. So yeah, that's quite cool. I mean, you could build up a whole arrangement over that just using a frequency shifter and one loop as your main sound, and then just start to gradually bring in the other elements and start to like automate them in and stuff like that and take them back out again. And you could, I don't know, you could go so far with that. And then obviously you've got, for each element there, you can then play around with the LFO settings and the frequency settings to kind of modulate them even more. When you get to build, you could transform all of those sounds into like this kind of like build. Something that I've never really thought about before until I started to make this tutorial, and I think might challenge myself and see if I can make a track just using the ring shifter on the sounds to see how far I can get creatively with this plugin that, like I said, often gets overlooked. So it's like a really, really good tool to use, and I'd recommend just getting really creative with that and trying that out. So next, I'd like to know, are you using the ring shifter in your productions? Do you not use it at all, or do you use it on quite a lot of different tracks creatively, or do you choose it for specific tasks? Please let us know in the comment section below, and I will catch you next time. Thank you very much.